Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Brunch with Rich Catino. I'm your host, Pete Pardo of Sea of Tranquility. Today, we're going to be ranking the albums. So it's actually a ranking the album show of new wave of British heavy metal legends, Tygers of Pan Tang. Good morning, Rich. How are you today?
Morning. How's it going? Morning.
Good.
Buddy.
There they
Tygers
are.
of Pan Tang.
That's right.
The famous first album cover.
Yep. They have a lot of pretty good album covers, actually. If you love Tigers,
Yeah.
man, I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
The album covers are pretty damn good. And, we've been talking about doing this episode for a while. It took a little longer. It's a big catalog. And, Rich and I have taken a couple Sundays off from doing the brunch thing here on SOT, but we're back. Right. We're going to have 2 weekends in a row of some really notable new wave of British heavy metal bands. So Tygers of Pan Tang this week. And then next week, we've got the great Praying Mantis.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. So we go from tigers to mantises, right?
Right. And it's funny that they're a week apart because tigers and mantis, I noticed, are probably the most melodic out of all the new wave of British heavy metal.
Yeah, maybe throw Demon in there too, and there you have it. Right?
I was going to say Demon. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Demon,
even
the
Tigers
with the really evil name, and the music is not quite so evil.
Very melodic. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tigers and Praying Mantis are kind of like what happened to Def Leppard too. Later, just got really light and kind of poppy too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're tackling all 12 studio albums today, and like Rich and I were just kind of chatting about before we went on air. There's really kind of 3 eras in this band. You technically almost say 4, and most of the eras sound pretty different from the one to follow. So
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to rank them as we like them. I've got, I don't have all of them in CD format, but I've got like maybe 3/4 of them. So.
Yeah. Because some of them are hard to find.
They are. Yeah, they are.
Like I noticed over the years, I've been picking up albums. Like I'm looking at all 12. Noises from the Cat House, Mystical from 2001 to 2004 are hard to get, or they're on import. Animal Instinct, even the Wreckage now from 85.
Yeah. Or
Burning in the Shade.
Yep.
They're all like Japanese imports if you want to try and get them right now. They really got to do some serious reissues and get some of this stuff back out there.
Yeah, and like Angel Air reissued Noises from the Cat House a number of years ago. I don't know, 5 years ago or so. But if they hadn't done that, good luck getting a copy of that one, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's not even like it's an old album.
Yeah, and Ambush got reissued recently, which is a cool album. I know that. And then the first 3 got reissued too.
Yeah. And you can get this cool MCA years box set, which
cool. I don't have it like that. I have them individually.
I got this like about a year ago. This is good to have. It's got Wildcat, Spellbound, Crazy Nights, The Cage, and then Live at the BBC.
So, The Cage is on there too, huh?
Yeah. So this is worth getting, and this was not expensive at all. So that's probably the way to do it if you're having a hard time tracking them down, individually. But it's a lot of the mid-period stuff that's like hard.
When I talked to the singer Jack, the guy that's been there for the past 4 albums, when I interviewed him for the Metal Asylum Facebook page, he told me that there's a couple of reissues coming.
Okay, cool.
I think Mystical was one of them, if I'm correct. Maybe Animal Instinct. I don't remember Noises, and maybe a couple from the late 80s, like Wreckage or Burning in the Shade. Cool. I think Mystical and Animal Instinct, I think, were the 2, if I remember, are coming maybe later this year.
Cool. Those are both good.
Yeah.
So, awesome. All right, so we'll dive right into this. So I'll have Rich kick us off with his number 12.
All right. My 12 is Noises from the Cat House from 2004. So I thought that was the most different out of all of them. I don't have a copy of it. You don't have that one either?
I do. Where is it? Here we go. That's the reissue cover.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that the one with the bonus tracks?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yep. This has got High Speed Highway Superman, Slave to Freedom, and Don't Touch Me There.
Okay. It's kind of still got who's the singer now? I got everything written down here. So that singer was one singer, Richie Wicks,
one and only.
Right.
They've got a couple of those instances, one and done.
Right. So it's more, it's definitely more stripped down and modern. I wrote this down, kind of like rhythmic guitars they got going on too. Cybernation with the moody keys and the vocal with the talk box. What else? Spirit Never Dies, Deja Vu. Boomerang has really got a heavy riff. Godspeak To, and then Master of Illusion. So a couple of notable songs I wrote down, but it's not my favorite. It's definitely their most different in the whole catalog.
You know what I'll say, and I'll get to it more when I get to that album, but it's definitely a bigger, more epic sounding album. Like songs
Yeah,
are long. You know, it almost reminds me of like early Diamond Head in a weird way.
really,
It's got that kind of like Zeppelin-y feel in spots, and just
it
I mean, I'll,
does.
I'll talk more about when I get to it, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely they've got a couple albums like that in this catalog that are really different than some of the other stuff that they've done, and
yeah,
that's I mean, no doubt by the numerous lineup changes that they've had.
right. And the new wave of British heavy metal element's not in this at all.
No, that's definitely not.
Totally gone by now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's on my 12 for that reason.
Cool. All right, my number 12, I don't know if you have a copy, but Burning in the Shade from 1987.
Don't have that one. That's one of the ones I gotta get.
So this is one of the kind of two albums that also really moved far away from that early new wave of British heavy metal sound. I mean, this is this big commercial sounding album. I got to say, John Deverell, what a singer that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on most of he's on the classic albums and then the more commercial albums. I think 4 in total.
Right.
He sounds great on here.
He's on Spellbound, Crazy Nights, The Cage, Wreck Age, and Burning Age.
It's all 5. Yeah, so it's 5. Gotcha.
So 5 up to Burning in the Shade. Yeah.
Yep.
In 87.
So this is, for all intents and purposes, released in 1987. It sounds like a 1987 hard rock metal album. Although I would put a stretch to call it a metal album because it's really not. It's like
it's more AOR. That's right. Put down for that.
It's totally catchy stuff on here. You got the first, the only, really catchy, great backing vocals. Hit It was one of the more rocking songs on here.
Yep, I wrote that one down.
You know what this album reminds me of, and the album that came before it, and they sound to me like, I don't know how familiar you are with early mid 80s Uriah Heep, like the Equator album when Peter Goldberg was on vocals. That's what this album sounds like to me. A lot of synths, big multi-layered choruses, catchy but not overly rocking. Open to Seduction is another pretty rocking tune, big chorus, lots of synths. I think for me, this album, the reason why I have it so low, it's very easy on the ears. It's a really pleasant listen, but it's just really slick. And it sounds like they were trying very hard to just kind of go for the charts. Too many ballads.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those albums that, in a perfect world, you could see this album becoming huge. It didn't happen, obviously.
Right.
But it's got that sound that I'm almost surprised that it didn't do better. And it's my least favorite for lots of reasons, but it just sounds like something that should have been a big album. And that would be the last album we'd see from them until 2001. So quite a long gap in between this one and the one to follow. So that's my number 2.
And from that block of albums, The Cage, The Wreck Age, and then Burning in the Shade, I thought it was like almost like Air Supply kind of vocals meets like Foreigner. Like it was, it's so AOR light in parts, because the vocals are so high up in the mix of the album. And
Deverell could sing that way really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the vocals are outstanding,
cool.
I think. Yeah.
It's cool. It's just the lightest out of those 3 albums.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
But not terrible.
No,
maybe not a very good Tygers of Pan Tang album, right?
Yeah.
But not an awful album. It's just,
Yeah. True. All right. 11. I'm going with Mystical. Do you have that one?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I don't.
That's one of the other ones that's hard to find.
Yeah.
So that's the one with the other singer. This is Todd Little.
Tony Little or Lydell or something like that. Yeah.
Tony or Todd?
I thought it was Tony, but maybe it's Todd. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah. All right. So again, the new wave of British heavy metal is kind of in the past. You don't hear that again on this album, but it's more guitars now and less keyboards. I wrote that down. But Detonator's cool, very Saxonish. I thought this album has a lot of Saxon elements to it, like Solid Wall Rock.
Yep.
That era. So Detonator, Firepower, Secret, Street Fighter, and Greed are, I think, the ones I like the most out of this album. So it's not bad, but it's, not their best. It's more of a return to form, getting back on track. But again, it's another one of those albums that you got the singer and then he's gone again. So
yeah. And this was the follow-up to the one that I just talked about. So 14 years later, Here they are with a brand new lineup. The one good thing about this album, though, is you got Rob Weir, their founder and guitar player, is back leading the band.
Right.
Because that's a weird thing. It's his band and he's gone and they continue on without him. It's really strange. So, but I think this was pretty solid record.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, but better than Noises, but not quite there yet. Not quite in the groove yet, but it's a good start. Good back, getting back to the roots.
So for me, number 11, I'm going to stick on the same era as my first pick at number 12. 1985's The Wreckage. Again, another solid record, but this is the album they put together after the breakup. So this is without Rob Weir, which again is kind of strange, but whatever. So here you've got John Deverell, the singer, and Brian Dick, the drummer, kind of like reforming the band. Here you got Donaldson on bass, Neil Shepherd and Steve Lamb on guitars. But the band sounds good. It's just not that Tygers of Pan Tang we knew from Crazy Nights, and the first couple albums. But it's still good. It's very commercial, kind of pop metal. Noir, like you said. Waiting is pretty rocking. A lot of hooks on this album. Protection kind of sounds like early Def Leppard. It's got that kind of feel to it. Big vocals. Innocent Eyes reminds me. Remember the band Icon?
Oh, I love that band. You remember I got them on my denim jacket? I got them those patches.
Yeah. Those first two Icon albums are great. That's kind of what Innocent Eyes sounds like a little bit.
That's the band I couldn't think of. That's what this era, the Cage, Wreckage, and Burning in the Shade reminds me of.
Yes.
Icon. You hit it on the nail on the head with that band. Yep.
So I hear Icon. I hear a little bit more of that Uriah Heep era at the same time. The Equator album, Women in Cages, a lot of synthesizers, Ready to Run's kind of rocking. I don't know. This is it's not a terrible album, just like the one I mentioned before. It's not terrible. Some really good songs. Some really aren't.
Yeah.
It's debatable how much of a classic sounding Tigers album it sounds like, though. But this stuff is pretty good. But you got to look at the time that it came out in. 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. This is what was going on all around the world with a lot of these heavier bands at the time. So The Wreckage sounds, it's a product of its time, right? It's not
everyone definitely got a little more melodic with more keyboards.
Yeah.
The guitars weren't as
they wanted to play on MTV. Yeah. It's what was going on at the time. So,
like, I don't know if we talked about them. Did we do? I don't remember now because we've done a bunch of these. Do we rank the White Lion albums?
Yes.
We did. That's right. Okay. It's like going from Fight to Survive to Pride.
Yeah. Those big jumps.
Which is funny. I just pulled that name out. I didn't even think of this. We're talking about Tigers of Pan Tang, and I pull out White Lion.
White Lion. A lot of big bats in these.
That's bizarre. I gotta play the lottery today or something. But like you go from Fight to Survive, which is a pretty heavy album, but still melodic, and then you go to Pride, which is not quite as edgy. Still got a little bit of an edge, but not as metal as Fight to Survive. So
right. Yep, absolutely. It's a good comparison. Yeah, they weren't alone in doing this. This is
Yep. All right, so
number 10.
Top 10. So 10 is Burning in the Shade for me. So I wrote down the keyboards definitely dominate this album out of the 3. Songs could be in a movie soundtrack easily. This is movie soundtrack hard rock, The big hooks, the big melodies. So the songs I put down were the first, Dream Ticket, Sweet Lies, Hideaway, Open to Seduction, has more guitar, and then Are You There? So like you said, it's enjoyable, but it's just too much keys. It's too light.
Yeah. It needs some balls.
They could have definitely sold a couple of these songs to a couple, movies in the decade, right?
Breakfast Club or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So this kind
by the way, horrible album cover. What is that?
Awful. Oof. Yeah.
And in your episodes, when you do those horrible album covers, did you ever bring this one up or no?
I don't think so. Probably because I just don't own it. That's probably why. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all.
But it's got to be in there. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's like for this band, you got to have a tiger on the front, a nice cool painting or something like that, because anything else just doesn't work.
And this cover's got a guy coming out of the sand. Obviously, he's burning, but he's not in the shade.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. It plays the title, but come on.
Yeah.
Don't deviate from the formula that's got you guys there, right? You got to have a cool looking tiger on the cover. It's just the way it is. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
So my number 10 is going to be kind of where this shift in their sound started. And that was with The Cage. Okay, from 1982. Here is where the commercial sounds really started to come in after, Crazy Nights and Spellbound, right? Yeah, there you got the bigger one, right?
Yeah.
So Sykes is gone. John Sykes. So of course, well, it's the first time we've mentioned him so far. Yeah, but John Sykes was in the band for 2 albums on Spellbound and Crazy Nights. So here he is already gone off to Thin Lizzy to join Phil and the boys in Thin Lizzy. We got Fred Purser joins Rob Weir as second guitarist. He also plays some keyboards. The band loses Sykes and automatically goes to a more commercial sound, but pretty strong album though. Rendezvous, really good song, really catchy. Lonely at the Top's got some great riffs. Letter from LA, that song personifies the direction they were going here.
Yeah.
You got Tides, which is very glam metalish. I won't use the H term here today. My thing with this album, and it's a good album. I think this album was 3 years too early. I think because at this time, bands are all of a sudden starting to get heavier. You got the underground coming up, thrash, and all this, stuff happening. I think if these guys would have came out with this album in '85, this does big business.
Yeah.
Because this kind of style was all the rage a couple of years later, and maybe at the time it was too drastic a change from what came before from these guys.
Right.
They didn't kind of ease it in and then do this when everybody else was doing it.
Because 82 was before all like the LA bands and the glam hard, the glam and the hard rock bands started getting big. But that's right when also, like right when it happened, Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love came out. First Great White, the self-titled one.
Yeah.
There's a few that were starting to come out, but they were hard at that point. They were metal at that point. Yeah. Before they got to, lighter and more keyboards too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's right before that time when everybody was still hard rock and, metal.
Yep. And you know what else hurt these guys too? You had to buy this as an import here. And all their other ones, because I bought Crazy Nights and the one before it as an import. And I don't even remember ever seeing this in the record shops here.
I don't know how I found this one. I have Crazy Nights and I have Spellbound. I don't have Wildcat. I'm trying to find Wildcat, but it's not cheap to get it on vinyl. But yeah, finding these ones from the 80s were not easy to get in America at the time. Even Burning in the Shade and the Wreckage too.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any of those here.
Yeah.
And this album, I think, if this was readily available, and this has some radio-friendly stuff on it, this could have been a breakthrough album for them.
Just came out too soon.
You have to wonder if the reason why this album kind of tanked and then the band split up. So you have to wonder if that precipitated that whole thing.
It's funny because that's my number 9, Cage. So we just discussed it all the same reasons.
Yeah.
But I thought it was the start of what they were doing on the next 2 albums. So it wasn't. I actually like the Wreckage a little bit better.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I think they were trying to get their feet with this album first, and then they did it a little bit better on the Wreckage, and then Burning in the Shade went too far. But
the reason why I like this one. I like this one a little bit better because I think Rob is still in the band, and I think Rob likes the big heavy riff stuff. And as soon as he left, that it got a little lighter. So
I think I wrote down what did I write down? Well, you got the piano ballad, The Actor.
Yep.
Right, and then Life of the Crime is more old new wave of British heavy metal. Tigers. I thought that's probably the only track on that album. I think that's still their roots in the old stuff. But like instead of everything else that we're talking about, the melody and it's a little lighter and the bigger hooks. Yeah. It's the start of it.
Not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yeah, it's not bad. Comes in 9 solid, I think.
My number 9. This is probably going to surprise you and some other people. I'm going to go with the debut.
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. There's one reason.
Yeah.
There's one reason.
Yeah.
Jess Cox, the singer on this album, he's not good.
Right.
He is not good at all. I think the songs on here are really good. I mean, this is a pretty rocking and heavy album. Euthanasia, Killers, Wildcats, Fire Clown, all really good songs. I don't like his vocals at all. And this is more raw than some of the other stuff. I don't mind that.
It's definitely the rawest. It's definitely the rawest album.
Oh
It's
yeah, I mean, and that album cover is amazing. You got these great live shots on the back, but I just, man, every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, eesh. I just don't like his vocals. And the funny thing is, he went and started his own Jess Cox's Tygers of Pan Tang band. Seriously? But good heavy album. Vocally, it just doesn't work for me. So that's why
it's a good start, but they definitely got better as they went along.
Yeah, like they got better really quick. I mean, literally within a year, they were like, wow.
Yeah,
it's totally.
Well,
different.
John Sykes.
Yeah, John Sykes, and you get a really good singer, and boom, there you have it. Right.
There you
go. That's all it took.
Yep.
All right, back to you for number 8.
8, going with Animal Instinct from 2008. Do you have that one?
I do not.
It's another one I got to get.
Yeah, I definitely got to get. I've heard it many times. Yep. I definitely got to get it.
Another one that's not easy to get.
Yeah.
But another one that's the return. It's more return to form. This one. Rock Candy. What else did I write down here? This is the one with the first one with Jack.
Yep, Jack
Mealy.
Mealy. Yeah.
We should be able to pronounce his name because he's Italian.
Well, I mean, I actually know a bunch of Mealies here in my area. I know them from some families with that last name, and that's how they say it. I mean, I don't know, maybe from Italy they might pronounce it a little differently, but here they say Mealy, so I don't know. Mealy, I don't know. That's probably how he said it.
Right? He pronounced it for me. He pronounced his first name for me too, when we did the interview. Nice guy.
Jacopo.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, I want to do it, but I don't want to butcher it.
Everybody just calls him Jack. So
yeah,
Jacopo Jack Mealy.
Yep. So
killer singer,
you're watching,
amazing singer. He's one of those guys you see him, you look at a picture of him, you see a video of him, and you don't expect that voice as soon as he opens his mouth. It's just
like maybe a little bit grittier, maybe, but man, is it smooth?
Oh my God, yeah, gritty. Exactly. That's what he looks like. Some guy be up there like with this Russell Allen thing, and it's not that at all. It's just he's got this amazing voice. Yeah.
Yep. So this one's back to basics. You got Rock Candy, Let It Burn, If You See K, Hot Blooded, Devil Finds a Fool. It's kind of bluesy and soulful. I wrote that one down. Bury the Hatchet. I put another question mark to it. I said a Saxon riff. It's another one of those times where there's a little bit of that Saxon influence, which is cool. And Dark Rider is probably my favorite. Last song on the album.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah. So it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Good first album with him.
Yep. More to come on that in a minute. My number 8 is Mystical from 2001. Like we mentioned before, it's their first album in 14 years. Rob is back in the band. This guy, Tony or Tom Liddell on vocals, one and only album. He's okay. He's nothing spectacular, but he's all right. I think it's a pretty solid hard rock record from them. I think it gets them back to doing heavier stuff, which I like. Detonator absolutely cranks. Firepower is pretty heavy. Secret is pretty strong. Title track has got this big epic kind of symphonic feel, which I think they would get into more on the next album. Roar is pretty heavy. You mentioned Greed. That's a good one. You know what? You know what I don't like about this album? The drums sound awful. Oh,
I noticed that.
Oh, I mean, were they programmed drums? I don't know, because I don't have a hard copy of it. I don't even know. But man, they sound terrible.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Like detracting to a point. It's just like a couple times I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get into this track. It's like the drums are just terrible. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty strong album and a good, welcome back guys album type of thing. Yeah.
And do you hear the Saxon influence as well, like I do?
Yeah, because I mean, how could you not? Because I think they
they're new wave of British heavy metal too. So
and then they were probably thinking, all right, we're back. Our buddies in Saxon have been kind of doing this thing nonstop, right? Like we probably should try and put something together that goes back to our roots, but updates it. And Saxon, quite frankly, is the best at doing that.
Their 90s albums and 2000s albums are so good.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no drop off in Saxon's catalog. So but that's my number 8. Good solid record, I think.
Okay. Next one, where we at 7. Yeah. So going with the self-titled one. I got to find the year now. What year was that one?
Was that 2016, I think?
2016.
Yeah, it's this one right here.
Yeah, cool cover too.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
So that's the third one, because there's Ambush in between.
Yep.
That's the third one with Jack singing. So, yeah, this is another solid one. Only the Brave, Never Give Up, Do It Again. The ballad is very good. Pray for a Miracle.
Oh, it's quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is 11 songs, and it's a very solid album.
Yeah.
Very consistent. They're very consistent now. You know, they're getting in that groove.
I would agree.
Yeah.
More about that in a minute. But first, my number 7 is Animal Instinct, which we just talked about first with Jacopo or Jack on vocals. I think it's a great debut with him. You mentioned a lot of the songs that I love. You know, Rock Candy is amazing. I love the talk box guitar stuff that's going on.
Yes, the talk box. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Cry Sweet Freedom is great. Live for the Day, Cranks, Let It Burn is some really good. I also like that Devil Finds a Fool song. And to me, it almost sounds like a heavier Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's almost like Southern rock at times, kind of bluesy, kind of Southern.
Yeah.
I like I like this album a lot. I think it's really good.
Yep.
Really good. So back to you for number 6.
I hope that's one of the reissues, if I remember correctly. Like I said, I think it's that one he said, and Mystical.
Good. Well, right. I would love to have both of them, so I hope they do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one of my questions to him. I said, you know, some of these albums are hard to find. Let's get some, you know, good reissues of that middle period.
I mean, they just reissued this not long ago, so hopefully.
And it's killer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. 6, going with the debut, Wildcat. A lot of the same reasons you said, but you can tell they're just getting started off with this album. They're not quite there yet. It's kind of like I wrote down like Def Leppard's On Through the Night.
Yeah.
Just On Through the Night's a little bit better than this. Actually, several steps better than it. Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's still got that youthful, you know, they're in their beginnings. They're youthful, you know, they're trying to figure it all out. And here the songs are not quite there. I don't think, like the hooks, they don't have the hooks yet.
Right.
Hooks are not there, but I wrote down Money, Killers, Wildcats is cool.
Yeah.
Susie Smiled, I thought, is the first sign of a catchy riff and the rhythm and the guitar. So that's like the start of them getting into, you know, catchy riff and a rhythm and a hook.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good start. You know, they made the changes they needed to, and we saw the fruits of that right on the next.
Yeah, I think it's on my 6 because it's in the middle, because it's important for what it is, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my number 6, like I said, is ranked a bit higher than you did. Noises from the Cat House. I actually like this album. Yeah, okay. I like the fact that it's so different. It's like really moody and epic sounding. The songs are longer. You know, this is the only album with that Richie Weeks on vocals. He's all right too. He's nothing spectacular. He's all right. Cybernation is really good, really heavy. Boomerang, nice and melodic. Got some good crunchy riffing on it. I love Master of Illusion, which to me it's got like hard rock and prog and doom, and then there's a lot of that going on in this album. The Spirit Never Dies is also big and brooding. You know, I like this album. I think it's really good, but it would be kind of like a, you know, kind of a one and done type of thing, because they would go back to more typical Tigers sound, and of course change the singer once again after this. But I like this album, and I'm glad I got the reissue that they put this out, because otherwise you would not be able to find this album. But I like it. It's got a really big sound to it, and it's less like that kind of frantic new wave of British heavy metal, and sees them going like a couple different directions. So I like it for that. But you know, that's just me.
Okay. So top 5?
Top 5. Here we go. Yeah.
5 is the Wreckage for me. So
wow.
Like you with the Noise from the Cat House.
Right, we did a complete,
swapping the entry, because I really like, this is the second one after the Cage, and I thought they really got the melodies and the hooks better with the riffs and the keyboards. They kind of balanced out a little bit better. And I love a good hook. I love melody in my metal, so I really like this one. I wrote down, let's see what songs. Waiting, Innocent Eyes, Desert of No Love is cool. Wreckage is more, you know, the retro, new wave of British heavy metal. Tigers, but that's the only song on the album that's like that.
Yeah.
Everything else is very melodic, very AOR.
Really hooky,
Yeah, which is good. I enjoy it. This one grew on me out of the 3 of them when I was going back to them, because I kept on switching them really quick. I wanted to, like Martin Popoff told us, you know, in the one episode, you start switching them out really quick, and you can hear the differences and what you like and what you don't like between them, the production and the songs and the catchiness and the hooks and the riffs and everything else. So Yeah, I really like this one. I got to find this on CD. I don't have it on CD.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid. Like I said, there's really no bad album in this catalog. It's just
No,
there's a lot of
preference.
different flavors. Yeah, from
Yeah,
kind of
and what you prefer more? If you prefer the rougher, new wave of British heavy metal stuff, or the more melodic AOR, glam metal type stuff, or like you said, noises from the cat houses, which are more modern. You know,
yeah. And I almost say there's almost like a I mentioned like on Noises from the Cat House, and I didn't even think about it till now. Um, there's almost like this kind of like Alice in Chains Soundgarden
hmm
darker thing
yeah,
permeating that music, which not surprising given when it came out, right? Because Noise from the
yeah,
Cat was 2004, kind of at the tail end of that, but
was.
still, and Europe also did an album right around the same time that had that kind of
Oh,
feel to it.
Start from the Dark
Yes, yeah,
when
exactly.
they got back together again.
Yeah,
Yes, which was totally influenced by newer music and
yeah,
more modern. I mean, all their newer albums are more modern anyway.
right, right. So cool. All right, now let's see. Number 5. All right, so I actually just got this reissue, like literally like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Ambush. That might be my favorite
Yes,
album cover from them. I don't know.
yes, that's definitely my favorite. I
Either
love
that
that.
or
That's
Crazy
so
Nights,
cool.
right? I mean, woof, that is like
Yeah,
killer
that's
album.
that's badass.
Oh
Yeah.
God, that's Rodney
Yep.
Matthews, who I love. Rodney, I mean, he's awesome. This is a cracking album, man. Killer
Yeah.
production. This
hmm
might be Rich. I don't know if you agree. This might be their best sounding album.
Yes, I think so. And I ordered that too, and I haven't gotten it yet, so I didn't get it in time for the discussion. But yes, it sounds great.
Yeah. Guitars and vocals sound larger than life. So this has got Jack on vocals also, right?
Yep.
These eyes
The
keep
second,
me
this is the
alive.
second one with him.
Second one with him. Yep, exactly. You got that nasty, gritty rock and roll dream song. Man on Fire just absolutely crushes. You got the
hmm
kind of bluesy metal of Burning Desire. I just think this is an incredible album. It's full of attitude, piss and
Yep.
vigor, and lots of swagger. I mean, I think
Yes.
that's what I love about the current lineup. It's like they just sound like they know they're the shit, and they're just
Yes.
it's like there's this kind of confidence and swagger of this band right now, which I don't know
Yep.
if they've ever had since the early days with Sykes.
Right. Because it took them, a couple of lineups and people
And a couple
getting back,
decades.
people in the band and consistency to get back into the groove again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say that the 4 albums, right? 4 albums with Jack Mealy on vocals
Yeah,
are arguably as good as their classic era.
I agree. Yeah, you can leave that up because that's my number 4.
Okay, there we go.
All the same things you said. I wrote down Keeping Me Alive, These Eyes, Rock and Roll Dream, Man on Fire, Play to Win, Burning Desire. All my favorites from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't skip a song on it anyway.
No, it's very strong.
But those are the notable ones that I wrote down. And like you said, great artwork as well. Great reissue. Go pick it up, everybody. It's good.
Yep. I highly recommend it. Who put this out? God, it's like minuscule letter.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Oh, there we go. Jesus, I don't know. I have no idea. It's so small, I
Right.
can't read it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just go get it. That's all that matters.
I know the font is so small now on CDs.
I mean, it's literally. I'm wearing my glasses, and I'm like, I can't even read that.
I know. Like I got the reissue of Wildcat, and like the font inside of this isn't bad, but really, if you don't have glasses on, you're not gonna be able to see that.
Yeah. So of course now we're gonna get people saying, well, that's why you should buy it on vinyl. Sorry, guys. As you can see behind me, this is what I've been buying for 30 years.
Right?
I'm not going back to buying.
Yeah, I got to go with CDs for now.
Yeah.
Unless I'm filling in spaces from the 80s or the 70s, then I'll get it on vinyl since I have a vinyl collection. So other than that, though, yeah, you gotta go to CD or sometimes digital because there's only enough space you got for all this stuff, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, I try to find the space, but yeah, it's an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
All right, my number. Where are we? Number 4, right? Yeah, my number 4 is
Yep.
self-titled album from 2016. Love it.
Mhm.
This is just a monster album. Another monster album from this current lineup. Blood Red Sky is just pure headbanging fun. Mr. Mealy's vocals are just outstanding on this album. I love the White Snake sounding Only the Brave.
Yes, that's the opener.
Oh, so good. So good. Dust is another great song. Big fat riffs, lots of blistering guitar solos. I love the raunchy swagger of Never Give In, the great song. And it's got a really cool cover of that Kiki D classic, I Got the Music in Me. That's like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. I like it. I dig this album a lot. Love the album cover. It sounds great. Production's great on it. Just, I remember like the first time I heard like the current lineup of the band. And I think that might've been the first album I heard. And then I went back and checked out the other ones with Jack on vocals. And I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. I don't remember Animal Instinct from 2008 being, I don't know, pushed that much or out there that much or easy to get, as well as Ambush. I think by the time the self-titled one came out, they were out there more. The label was pushing them more and they were more viewed,
Yeah, absolutely. So good stuff. All right,
top
three.
Top three, going with the latest one with Jack singing, Ritual. This was one of my top three actually of 2019. For my list of Brave Words and Metal Asylum. This is such a good album. I mean,
it was in my top 10 also. Yeah.
What's that?
It was in my top 10 of the year also.
Yeah, it's great. They say, third time's a charm. This is fourth time's a charm.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So Love Will Find a Way, I wrote down, is got that AOR element still, which is good, as long as you don't overdo it. Right. Worlds Apart, Destiny, White Lines, those are the three songs they released. Singles are so good, right? So catchy, great riffs, great vocals. You got everything you want there. What else? Raise Some Hell and Damn You, good heavy ones, good hard rockers. And I wrote down also Spoils of War and Art of Noise are my other two favorites. Really like Spoils of War actually is going to be on there. What's it called? We were talking about that in the interview, the compilation that they have coming out.
Oh, really? Okay, they're gonna add that. That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up now. Yeah, that one's gonna be on it. Mrs. and Misfires or something. Oh my God, what the hell is it called now? It's a compilation of all of the songs from his era, from those 4 albums.
Oh, cool.
They put on a reissue, not a reissue, a compilation for people that want to get an introduction to the band or don't have all those albums. But I got to find the title now. You should know this. Misses and Hits or something.
Well, while Rich is looking that up, I'm going to
go ahead.
Well, Ritual is also my number 3. This is great. I listened to this so much in 2019 when it came out and into last year too. It's just another fast and furious slice of melodic hard rock and metal.
I'm sorry, Majors and Minors. I was close.
Majors and Minors, you were close. You were close.
Yes. Yes, so I'm checking the track listing, but I'm pretty sure Spoils of War is going to be on that.
I mean, Spoils of War is a great song. It's one of the ones that I highlighted here. It's big and crunchy, full of hooks. How about White Lines? Oh, what a great song.
White Lines, yes, one of the singles. Spoils of War is on it.
Okay.
It's an orchestral version.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
So they expanded it a little bit, enhanced it a little bit.
What's interesting about this album is they have and I don't think he's in the band anymore, but Michael McChrystal was brought in on guitars on this album. He may or may not still be in the band. I'm not sure. And he definitely has a Sykes thing going on. There's like all sorts of like pinch harmonics and like Sykes sounding guitar solos on this album, which gives it that kind of Spellbound Crazy Nights feel, I think, a little bit.
He's not on the lineup for this one, for the Majors and Minors.
Okay.
No, there's somebody else now, but it's still Jack and Rob and Gav Gray on bass and Craig Ellis on drums.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just a cranking album. Really good. Destiny's a really good melodic anthem. Rescue Me, Raise Some Hell. I mean, just there's not a bad song on here.
No.
If it wasn't for the 2 albums that obviously are coming for the both of us, I think this could easily be my favorite Tygers of Pan Tang album.
Yeah. And it's, it makes sense why we both have it in our top 5 albums of the year, or however we had it, top 10 or something, right?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the track listing. This is a great track listing from the 4 recent albums. And there's a couple songs on here that are not on previous albums too.
Oh, really? Wow, cool.
Yeah, so it's Only the Brave, Destiny, She, Never Give In, Worlds Apart, Glad Rags, Let It Burn, White Lines, The Devil You Know, Keeping Me Alive, Hot Blooded, Damn You, Spoils of War, What You Say, and Plug Me In.
Wow, that's good.
A lot of good songs for a good introduction to the current version of Tygers.
And when's that coming out?
It's out in May.
Oh, cool. So everybody watching, if you're a Tigers fan, but you really haven't followed them since like the early mid '80s,
Right.
I would recommend go checking that out because that'll
Yes.
give you again. You know, the thing is, you're going to get that, and you're going to be like, "Oh, this stuff is great," and you're going to want to get all
Yeah.
the individual albums.
Go
But
backwards. Yeah.
yeah,
It's May 28th comes out, and the artwork is so cool. It's a close up of the tiger's face with
right.
the eyeball, and then the eyeball. The artwork is in there from previous 4 albums.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
Wow.
you see the 4 tigers inside of his eyeball.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Neat.
sharp.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, the top 2. Well, we know what they are, folks. It's just a matter of how we've each ranked these. So
Right. All right. My 2 is Crazy Nights. I think this is my second favorite cover
oh yeah, it's
after Ambush.
Yeah.
The only thing I never understood about this album, not that I don't understand, I just don't think it works. Do It Good is a terrible opener. I just thought it was a clunker. I was like, this is really not good.
I love Do It Good.
Do you? I think it's terrible. I think
love
Love
Do It
Don't
Good.
Stay should have been the rocker that kicked it off.
I don't know. I think Do It Good is great.
That's the second tune in. But yeah, I was like, wow. Even when I listened to it again today, I was like, I really don't like this song. but everything else isn't that funny? It's cool though. Yeah, you don't think it's kind of a clunker a little bit
No.
in the beginning? Okay, maybe I'm missing something. So yeah, I put down Love Don't Stay should have opened it. Running Out of Time has a Maiden influence. Do you hear that? Title track, Down and Out, Make a Stand, Raised on Rock. Yeah, those are the songs that I like from that.
So
Only 9 songs too, by the way.
yeah, no, it's not an overly long album. No.
No, and it's the second one with Sykes and his last one.
Second and last. Yep.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time with ranking these top 2 because they're both, in my mind, just kind of equally great.
Right.
But I ultimately went with the one that I got first because sometimes,
Okay.
you know, the first album you get by a band usually is like, you know,
Still your favorite.
yeah. So Spellbound is going to be my number 2 because of that. This is absolutely fantastic album. So they released 2 albums in 1981. All right.
Right.
2 great albums in 1981.
Yep.
So here, this is the first with John Sykes on guitar. So this is the album where they got John Deverell, they got John Sykes. All of a sudden, boom! Tygers of Pan Tang are major players, right? You got Gangland on here.
What a great heavy opener that is.
Oh my God, the riff-tastic Take It. And there's the guys right there. As you can see, Mr. Sykes all the way on the end, right? Hellbound, big and metallic and beefy. Mirror is a really cool, like kind of atmospheric song. I like that.
Ballad.
Yeah.
Kind of a ballad, right?
It's kind of, yeah. It's just
kind of, but not quite. It's kind of a ballad.
Yeah.
Ballad-ish.
Ballad-ish, yep. And John Deverell sounds great on that song. You got Silver and Gold. You got the Rampage in Tiger Bay.
Yeah, I love Tiger Bay. That's one of the songs I wrote down.
Man, it's just, I mean, it's just, and it's incredible how much better this album is than the
first one.
Yeah. It's like night and day. So that's my number 2. Could easily be number 1, but I'll get to my number 1 in a second. So
yeah, maybe Crazy Nights could have been my number 1 if it wasn't for that opener. Maybe. I don't know, but I like Spellbound better for my number 1 because I think it's a little bit heavier too.
It is a little heavier. Yeah.
Crazy Nights got a little more melodic, which is fine, but this still has more of that new wave of British heavy metal edge to it. And it's a little more aggressive too. Like you said, Gangland, Take It. Minotaur is a cool little intro going into Hellbound, which is really heavy. They should actually put them 2 of them together as one song, you know? Mirror, like you said, Silver and Gold, Blackjack. I really like the story so far, and Tiger Bay. But 10 songs, I don't skip anything on this. This is great.
Yeah, it's really.
This is a great example of Tigers doing what they do best.
Yeah.
For that for that time period, because like you said, they're going to change lineups. They're going to change their sound a little bit. And things are going to evolve as the years go on. So.
40 years ago.
Right, and then you got what's that whole gap now? The gap from Burning in the Shade through what? There's like 13, 14 years or something.
The Cage was what? The Cage was 82, and then the Wreckage
was 85.
3 years, yeah.
And then Burning in the Shade's 87, but then you got that whole block of time until 2001 before they get back together again.
Yeah.
For Mystical.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of gaps in this catalog, yeah. A lot of gaps.
But if you're looking for, this is that classic era, the first 3 of that classic era of Tigers.
Yeah. So my number one's Crazy Nights. Obviously, this is the.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this in Record World in Middletown, New York. I got this, I think, shortly after it came out, and
Yeah, probably same here for me.
Flipping through the import racks.
Yep.
That's what I did. That's what we all did, right? And
Yeah.
seeing this, and as you are, a huge King Kong fan, and I was like,
Yes.
whoa, look at
Right.
that. And then, of course, I turned it around, and I was always a sucker for great live shots, and I was like, I'm buying this. I don't know who this band is. Never heard of them. I'm buying it. And I was like, holy, I think Do It Good is terrific. Those big, heavy riffs. And
I don't know. It's a clunker for me. It doesn't go anywhere for some reason.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But there's so many other great songs on here. I mean, Never Satisfied, nasty song. Just so good. Love Don't Stay. Running Out of Time is so good. You got great vocals on that. Great. You can hear, it's funny, you listen to some of Sykes' guitar solos on this album, you can totally hear where he was going to go on the Thunder and Lightning album from Thin Lizzy.
Yes, with Thin Lizzy, yeah. He heavy metaled them up a lot.
Oh, big time, big time. Title track Crazy Nights is great. Make a Stand is good. Raised on Rock, I just love it. Like I said, I love both of these.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give the slight edge to this one because I have a little more history with it, and it's the first one I got. So
I think Crazy Nights is the first one I got too, because of the cover, like you said, going through the import bin. That's how I found out about all the new wave British heavy metal, because how do we know about them aside from just seeing the artwork? I mean, I remember seeing and hearing about Iron Maiden and Priest and, Def Leppard and Dio and Black Sabbath and everything, because they were bigger names. Yeah. But a lot of these other bands like Tygers and Praying Mantis and Demon, Satan, Venom, if you didn't see them in the import rack, where are we going to find out about them, really?
I mean, the only way is if you're reading every single issue of Kerrang and Metal Hammer, but that's not always possible because those.
I never saw them.
They were not easy to get either.
Until later in the 80s. It was Circus, Hit Parader.
Yeah.
And what else was around at that time? I remember those two mostly.
Cream, Circus, Hit Parader. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they weren't talking about these bands.
No, not until maybe 85-ish.
If that.
86,
but
maybe.
Not 81, 80, 81, 82. I mean, the only way you would find out about the new wave of British heavy metal bands is seeing them in the import section and taking a chance, because there was no other.
Same thing goes for a lot of the German bands too, like Gravedigger, Running Wild, Halloween, a lot of those bands too. I didn't find out about them until, later, 85, 86.
Yeah.
But I, noticed them in the import rack as well. That's how I bought them.
Yeah.
Great album covers.
It's funny because I see a lot of comments from people these days that people talk about how they were never that person to take a chance on something that they didn't know or had no idea what it sounded like, because now you can sample anything you want before you buy it, right? But back then you really couldn't. And I as many of us, we always talk about this, used to do that, be like, oh, killer album cover, I don't know who this band is, but I'm buying it. There's no way you can do this, right? I see a lot of comments from people who never ever did that, and they're like, I was they say things like, I was afraid to spend my money if I really didn't know if it was something that I would like. So it wasn't as common as we who did that seem to think, right? I think a lot of people would never take a chance if they didn't hear it on the radio or see a video or something like that, and I totally get it. I totally get it, right?
But how often did we hear these bands on the radio at that time? I didn't. Aside from, barely once in a while, maybe Zeppelin or Sabbath or Deep Purple or Rainbow or Scorpions or something, maybe in the early 80s, late 70s, when my parents were, playing the radio in the house or something. But even then it was a rarity for those kind of bands.
Yeah. You almost had to take a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after seeing covers for, like Kiss, Maiden, Priest, and you buy it because of the artwork, and then you figure it out that it's great music, then that's kind of like your mark to say, like, all right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to find killer artwork, and it's probably going to be great music to go with it, right?
Right. Well, it's like the Martin always talks about this. It's like the cover looked heavy, right? The whatever was on the cover looked heavy, so we took a chance on it, right?
If it looked like rock and metal, all right, I'm going to buy it. Like
wearing leather jackets on the back, and you have long hair. It's gotta be heavy, right?
Like Molly Hatchet, great covers,
I mean, I love the Molly Hatchet albums, but yeah, those albums are
Totally different style, but yeah, it's another band that had some killer artwork.
yeah, yeah,
Even like Journey, as different as it was, that was interesting too. That was eye catching.
yeah. I love those Journey albums. Well,
Yeah,
well,
I mean
after
they were on the
after
radio.
the first couple albums, right? Yeah, because those first.
Yeah, but you can hear those guys on the radio at the time though. That's how I knew them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So cool. So there we have it, everybody. So 12 albums ranked by the both of us. Rank them as you like them in the comments below. If you want to rank all 12, cool. Your top 5, your top 10, whatever. I would say a good chunk of this catalog, you know what? They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on what you like, obviously the mid 80s period is a little different than the early 80s period, which is different from the latter era. So it's all, you know, there's a lot of variety in this catalog, I think, and but a lot of really good classic albums, I think. Yeah, I would say a good chunk of this catalog is pretty damn strong. So
and check out Majors and Minors on May 28th.
That's right. That's right.
That compilation. It's all the, you know, select songs from the Jack albums, the last 4.
Yep. Very cool. So that should be good. So that's it, folks.
That's it. Next week we have
Praying Mantis. So tune in next Sunday for we're going to do the same thing all over again, but with another band that are probably buddies with the band we just talked about. So
with killer, again, great artwork.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So cool.
Absolutely. Rodney Matthews once again.
Praying Mantis, they're like Tigers. What great hooks and, you know, melodies and riffs these guys got too, right?
Yeah. And another band that's having a late career renaissance. I would say Tygers of Pan Tang, Praying Mantis, as well as Diamond Head have been, and Saxon too.
Saxon. Even Demon and Satan, even though they're smaller, you know, maybe lesser known names, they're having great music.
Yeah. I don't know if I've listened to the recent Demon, but the recent Satan albums are great.
And Cloven Hoof too.
I haven't heard.
That was so good. I think it was last year or the year before. What a great album that was too.
I haven't heard that. I will have to check that out.
Yeah.
But all these other bands are having this late career renaissance where they're releasing some of the best music of their careers.
Right.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yep.
So you can join both of us. You don't have to wait till next Sunday because we will be, of course, Rich is coming to guest once again on the Hudson Valley Squares at Monday night. So check that out. We've got a pretty cool show lined up with a lot of folks on this call. So we've got everybody on the Squares will be present, as well as Rich and a couple other surprises. So check that out on Monday night. And we've got In the Prague Seat happening on Tuesday. And all sorts of stuff happening during the week. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're on YouTube all the damn time. Rich, you got anything coming up on Metal Asylum or anything else on your end?
Yeah, Metal Asylum Facebook page. We're talking to Keith St. John. Do you know him?
No.
Singer, musician. Does the Ronnie Montrose Remembered event in California every year.
Cool.
Sang for Montrose for years. Sings for Kingdom Come. What else does he do? Ray in the Rock Vault in Vegas. So he's got he does a lot of different things musically. What else? Reviews I'm sending into Brave Words all the time, every week. There's a couple going up every other week or something. Same thing at Metal Asylum. And the Monsters Den. We're doing something Thursday, top 10 boogeymen, right?
That is correct. That is correct. Coming up this week.
Yep. So yeah, a couple things coming up this week too.
Sounds good. And everybody, I know everybody's been asking, we got some new product reviews coming up here. I have in my possession Richie Kotzen, Adrian Smith. That is coming up. Cool. Brand new Cheap Trick. That is coming up.
What's that?
Inglorious.
Cheap Trick. What's the Cheap Trick?
In Another World, it's called.
A new album?
Yep, brand new. Oh. Just came out. Cool. Quite good. The Inglorious.
Oh, that singer, dude, that singer.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah.
Inglorious. Oh my God, what a great singer he is.
He's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then brand new, Vintage Caravan just came out. And I should have any day now the new Liquid Tension Experiment. So lots of new things to talk to you guys about. I'm sure there's more sitting here. Yeah, I got other stuff. So a lot of that is coming up. New District 97, new cast, new Fernando Perdomo, new Alan Holdsworth archival stuff.
Everybody's been busy during the pandemic.
Everybody's been busy. Yeah, everybody's cranking out the albums now. And
right. Might as well until they can start touring.
dogs barking like crazy downstairs. This is like a weekend thing here. Lynn Versace's coming on the show today. We are going to do top 10 songs of Meatloaf. So that's happening sometime over the next couple hours. So
Nice.
for that. So for Rich Catino, I am Pete Pardo. See you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.